Hello everyone, welcome back to Math Top Grades or Math Top G. In this video, I will teach you how to sketch graphs. This is part 2 of differentiation. In part 1, you will find it in the playlist of IG Math. And this video, I will teach you how to sketch using x-intercept and y-intercept. Now, get your pen and paper ready and don't forget to like and subscribe, and good luck. Now let's start with this question. Here you have f of x is our function, and it's x multiply x plus 2 multiply x minus 3. You have to understand why it is written in this form over here. This form actually is very important when you graph it here. On the diagram, sketch. Okay, sketching means you don't have to draw the accurate measures 1, 2, 3, and so on. No, all you have to do is just get the intersection point with the axis. How can we do that? First of all, you can get the intersection points with x-axis immediately here from this equation. How? Here it's already factorized, so you can just get the value of x, which will make each part of them 0. For example, here x equals 0. Okay, let's just fix this here. Okay, here x equals 0. What is the value of x which will make this 0 here? X equal -2. Okay, as like you are solving the equations here, and here x equal +3. These points here are the intersection points with x-axis. X equals 0, which is here. X equals 3, which is here, for example. X equal -2, which is over here. Okay, then what? Over here, now, how can you draw it? In your brain, you can think about, okay, mister, will I do it like this? Or will I do it like that? Okay? You have to know something. When you multiply x by x by x over here, you will get positive x cubed. Since x cubed here is positive, so the start will be upright, okay? So here you can just graph it over here like this, of course, with a smooth curve, okay? This is our curve, the sketching of our curve over here. And that's it. Okay, expand and simplify this. Here, first of all, let's multiply this here. It's going to be x squared plus 2x. And after that, let's multiply x minus 3. Then you will distribute these two over this bracket here. So your answer is going to be x squared multiply x is going to be x cubed. X squared also multiply -3, it will be minus 3x squared. Then 2x multiply x, it will be positive 2x squared, and here minus 6x. Then you will just simplify -3x squared plus 2x squared, so x cubed minus x squared, and here minus 6x, and this is how to simplify. Okay, let's take a look at question C. In question C here, A at the point 1 and -6. Okay, the tangent to the graph, read carefully here. The tangent to the graph of this at A, do you know what that means? That means point A belongs to the curve we just sketched. Why? Well, how did I know that? Because he told me the tangent at A. And we all know that tangent means a straight line which touches the curve at one point only. So that means that point belongs to the curve, which is point A. So, for example, point A here is 1 and -6. You can just assume that point A is here. If this is 1 and -6 down, so this is point A over here. He is telling me that this point A meets the y-axis at B, the tangent. The tangent at this point meets y-axis at what? At B. So imagine that you have here a tangent, okay, and this tangent is touching A at one point only, okay, touching A only here, and this is the tangent which he means. He's asking us to get the value of B. In other words, he's asking us to get the intersection point with Y axis. Right. To do that, you have to know that any tangent is a straight line, so any equation of a straight line is Y equals mx plus C. Your job here is to get the value of C. What about X and Y? X and Y actually are given to you in the equation here. This is X and this is Y. What is left for us to find? We still have to find M, which is the gradient, and immediately, if you need to get the gradient at any point, you have to get the first derivative of the function. Here, the function we got here, we will find this is y. So we have to get dy by dx. When you get the derivative here, so 3x squared minus 2x minus 6. This is the first derivative. He told me that x equal what? Now you have to get the gradient at this point. And to get the gradient, you have to substitute x's with the value of x in the point here, which is 1. So 3, the gradient which is m equals 3. Substitute x with 1 here. So 1 squared minus 2 multiply 1 minus 6. And here is going to be 3 minus 2 is 1 minus 6, so it's going to be negative 5. This is the value of the gradient. Let's write our equation now, substituting x, y, and m. And after that, we can find c easily. Y equals negative 6 equals m, we just found with negative 5. X from the point it equals 1 plus c. So what is c? No, c is c. This is what we need to find. After that, you can solve this equation here, and from that you can get that c equals negative 1. And the point of intersection now is 0 and negative 1. Okay, here. This is the point of intersection of this tangent. This is point B. The point of intersection of tangent and the y-axis.
One of my students sent me that question and asked me to tell him how to sketch it. Here, if you pay attention, this is question double I. You can't do it with your knowledge right now in grade 10. You can't do it with this only information. No, this is double I, which means it's somehow related to question I over here. Okay, so pay attention to that, please, because some students, many students actually, they think about every question separately. No. Most of the times when it's I and double I, triple I, they are connected somehow. So now let's start here with question I. Here I have y equal this function, and we have to show that the equation can be written in this form. How can we do that? We did a similar question in the previous example. So y equals, here I'll multiply x here and here. I'm going to distribute the first two brackets, and when you do that, it's going to be x squared plus x plus minus 4x minus 4. Okay, and when you simplify this, is going to be x squared minus 3x minus 4. Okay, this is multiplied by x minus 2. Let's distribute again. So it's going to be x squared multiply x is going to be x cubed, and here minus 2x squared, then minus 3x squared. This is by distributing this here and there. Okay, plus 6x. And then we will distribute the negative 4, so minus 4x plus 8. Simplified by combining like terms together, so here x cubed, negative 2x squared and negative 3x squared is going to be negative 5x squared. Here 6x minus 4x is going to be positive 2x, and this is plus 8. Okay. Of course, if you didn't get that answer, so you did something wrong, you have to go back and check your answer. Now, let's take a look at this question here. He is asking me to sketch this, indicating the values where graph crosses the axis. So we need x-intercepts and we need y-intercepts. You can get y-intercept easily by substituting x equals 0. So if you wanted to get y-intercept, you have to substitute x with 0, and when you do that in your equation here, so all x's will be cancelled, you will have only 8 left because x's are going to be 0. So in this case, y equals 8, and here this is y equals 8. This is the first point which we have. What about the other points of x-axis? You don't look here. You can't do it even if you look here. Of course, there are many ways. You can use your calculator. There are many ways. But he actually gave you the answer in part I. But because it's already factorized for you. Here, as you can see, you have 3 brackets multiplied by each other. It's already factorized. Now, that means each factor here is your intersection with x-axis. So x here equal 4. X here equal -1. And x here equals +2. So I have +2, I have +4, so this is 2 and this is 4, and also I have -1, so that is here on the negative side. This is actually how it looks. These are the 3 intersection points with x-axis and 1 intersection point with y-axis. Now, the question is, how the graph looks like. How will it be? Here, as I told you before in the previous example, x cube here is positive. If x cube is positive, so it's coming from the right side here, upright. Okay? So when you do that, it will be like this. Okay? You will go, okay? And go down like this. Of course, your curve must be smooth as possible. Okay, so please pay attention here to this point when you have a question here, double I. It can be related to the previous one. Most likely it will be. Okay, this is about how to sketch this question here. Let's take a look at here this question. This graph, okay, has 2 tangents with gradient 10. Okay, find the equations of these 2 tangents. Please pay attention to that. Why? Number 1, this question here came in May-June 23 and it cost 7 marks. This question was 7 marks question. It's very important. You have to divide it into small questions in order to solve it properly, or at least to take as many marks as possible. Don't leave any blank questions. When you write an information, it must cost you a mark. So here, let's take a look at this. He told me what has 2 tangents or with a gradient. I told you earlier in part 1 of calculus that gradient, once you see gradient and you are dealing with gradient, first step, find the first derivative. So what are you going to do? You have to find the first derivative of this function here. So dy by dx equals 3x squared minus 10x plus 2. Okay, this is the first derivative here. Okay, what is the question here? He is telling me that the gradient is what? Is 10, which means this gradient, which is the first derivative here, equals 10. And he is asking me to get equations. Fine. So I will take my first derivative and make it equal to 10. 3x squared minus 10x plus 2 equals 10. And now our job is to get the value of x and solve this equation. So 3x squared minus 10x, here 10 will go here, so negative 10, so it's going to be negative 8. All of that equals 0. let's factorize it here. Use any method you like. Okay, here x and here x. Okay, here 3 and here 1, here 2. Okay, and here is 4. When you do that here, your answer is going. This is minus and this is plus. Okay, you can use mod 5.3 easily if you are not good enough in factorization. Now, x here equals negative 2 over 3, and x here equals positive 4. Great. Now let's take a look at this. We got the values of x. So what is the next logical step? The next logical step here is to get the values of y and to get the points of tangency. So how can you get the values of y? By taking these values here and there, then you put it back and substitute in the original function here. Okay? So when you substitute x with negative 2 over 3, here y will be equals, here I got it with 112 over 27. It's simple substitution. You substitute x here, here, and there with negative 2 over 3. And when I substituted x with 4, so in this case, y equals, now we got the 2 points. Now what should we do? We should get the equations of the two tangents we need. He's asking us here to get the equations of the two tangents. Okay. Two tangents, two straight lines, and we have here the general form, y equals mx plus c. We have the value of y, we have the value of x. How do we have them? From the points we have here, down here, this point and that point. Okay. We have m also. M is the gradient, which is 10. It's given to us since the start of the question. And all we have to do now is get the value of c. So let's substitute. Y equals mx plus c. So substitute with y with 112 over 27 equals mx, m is 10. X here is negative 2 over 3 plus c. So here c equals 112 over 27 plus 20 over 3. And in this case, c equals, here I got it with 292 over 27. Okay. We will do the same thing with the second point over here. Substitute y with 0, m is 10, x is 4 plus c, and in this case c equals negative 40. We got the y-intercept of both lines. Let's write just write the equations of the lines, which is y equals mx, which is 10x, plus c, yani plus 292 over 27. This is the equation of the first line. And here, let's get the equation here. Y equals mx plus c, so 10x, and c here is minus 40. And this is the answer of that. As I told you, this is a 7 marks question. It's very important. You have to arrange your thoughts, and even if you can't get the final answer, you know tangents here and gradient, you have to get the first derivative, make it equal to the gradient, and you can get at least 4 or 5 marks from that.